Please take your seats quickly, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Hi guys, and welcome to 1minutetennis.com. In today's session, I want to talk to you about the wrist movement in the forehand drive. And I want to show you why it's a problem for so many players, and then a really simple way of how you can apply the perfect shape and the perfect wrist movement into your forehand. Now, the wrist lag and the wrist movement within the forehand is a mystery to a lot of players. And the biggest reason for this is the way we actually feel our own bodies. The ability to know what our body is doing without looking at it is called proprioception. And proprioception is essential for us to function in everyday life. This is why we can close our eyes and put our fingers together, because I'm aware of where my fingers are, even though I am not looking at them. But proprioception is not the same in everywhere in the body. So you'll be much less aware of the movements of your wrist than you will the movements of your fingers. Because of this, when a lot of players begin the stroke, they actually lock the wrist and they think they're getting this movement here, but they're not. The movement is locked or drastically restricted. So by thinking about the wrist, we don't really get the correct wrist movement. So first of all, let's look precisely at what that wrist movement is and then how to get it. Now, quite simply, what we want to do is we want to go from neutral to extension to radial deviation. This is neutral, this is flexion, this is extension, this is ulnar deviation, and towards the thumb is radial deviation. And we want to go from neutral, extension, radial deviation. Now, the good news is that extension to radial deviation happens pretty much naturally for everybody. So if you find extension, the first part, then the second part's just going to happen automatically. So how to find extension? You see, if you think of it with the wrist, if we begin in extension and just make the stroke, then it doesn't work because it's locked. It has to flow to add acceleration to the swing. But it's very hard to find that extension because, as I mentioned earlier, we're less aware of what the wrist is doing. But we are aware of what our fingers and knuckles are doing. So instead of thinking about extending the wrist, what I think you should do is, as you go into the forward swing, you should think about pointing your knuckles up to the sky. See, I point my knuckle up to the sky and swing. From here, I don't think about extending my wrist because I don't really know what's happening with my wrist. But I point my knuckle up to the sky and then make the swing. By pointing the knuckle up to the sky, I'm actually aware of what's happening with my hand, with my wrist, and therefore with my racket. This sounds simple. It is simple, but it works. Whereas if you think about the wrist lag, what happens to most of the people watching this video is they'll take a video of themselves, look at it, and think, how can I be doing this? It's not how I expect it to be. This is because of the limitation of our sense of proprioception with the wrist. So don't think about the wrist. Think about the knuckles. Point your knuckle up to the sky as you begin the upswing, and you'll get this terrific wrist lag and snap and acceleration of the racket. You'll get more power and more spin. I hope this makes sense. I'd love to know how it works in your game. And if you like my ideas on tennis and the precise details that we go into, have a look at our books on Amazon. We've got books on the backhand, the serve, the kick serve, the forehand, all parts of the game. And we provide great details of the science involved, the anatomy, the physics, and then super simple solutions illustrated to help you reach the next level. Or for more personalized advice, join the people in 34 countries all over the world, all ages and levels, who are having one-to-one coaching with me. For more information on that, have a look at the website or email me for details. So don't work on the wrist, work on the hand. Let the hand lead the wrist and you'll add power, spin and speed into your forehand. Thanks for watching. See you next time for more unique tennis lessons that really work.